It's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, Professor Kecheng Liu, who will be joining us from Henley Business School in the UK. Now, by way of an introduction, Prof. Liu is a professor of Applied Informatics, and he's also the director of the Digital Talent Academy at Henley, which of course is a role that puts him right at the heart of how leadership and AI are reshaping the way we do business. His work explores how we can create real value through virtual resources, things like data, information, and emerging technologies, and how organizations can transform through these tools without losing their humanity. He's widely recognized as a global thought leader in organizational semiotics, and he's spoken at major events around the world in this regard. So in the next few minutes, Prof. Liu will kindly share his time with us, and he'll be sharing views and insights on how these technologies are evolving and how leaders across Africa can not only keep up, but thrive in this new AI-driven world. So please join me in welcoming, with a big virtual round of applause, Professor Kecheng Liu. Kecheng, over to you.
Oh, yes, thank you. Okay, we are set. Okay, now leading Africa competitively, that's the topic that I want to discuss with you. In an AI-empowered world, that's the word in front of you, but the announcement, the invitation when you received it, was AI-powered. Now, let me start with a question, okay? While you're thinking, then I will continue. If you think AI-powered is your choice, type in one in your chat box. But if you think AI-empowered would be your choice, okay, the word in front of you, type in 2. Right, while you are thinking or typing, now, as Barry said, I'm a professor, so I do all the core duties of a professor, and then I spent a lot of time in Digital Talent Academy. Digital Talent Academy, if I have time, I will mention what kind of things we do. Okay, I'm based in Reading, beautiful campus. The temperature is just fine, 20 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so it's good. But okay, so what am I going to cover in my talk? Okay, maybe Barry, later on, you can summarize who think it's number 1, who think it's number 2. Okay, and then I will come back. When you gave me the answer, then I will tell you what is my preference, because it's not fair that I just ask you, but I don't tell you what I think. And why I put the 2 wordings differently to you. Okay, so I'm going to, in this talk, 20 minutes, so let's have a quick discussion, okay? Where I will cover evolution of digital and intelligent economy, and I will talk a little bit about opportunities, challenges. Then I will introduce 3 concepts in a systematic way. So that is a kind of, in my view, a journey, okay? A kind of a complete journey. And then I will say something about what I mean by digital leaders for Africa to win, because Africa has a lot of potential, has a lot of talents, and then Africa can win. It's not just to keep up. Okay, now we all know about the 4th industrial revolution, okay? In fact, the first, second, they share a lot of commonalities in terms of scale, tools, and so on. The third one, digital, it can be characterized as a digital revolution. And now there we use computers and for automation and so on. Okay, and then the 4th one, we are currently going through the 4th one. A lot of people think. Okay, maybe you agree with this kind of view. Now, the question to you is that, are there key differences between the first 3 and the 4th one, the 4th industrial revolution? Okay, as I said, first two are about the tools, about facilities that you can use in the production, value creation. And the third one is also tool. It's smarter tool for automation, computer, and so on. But the first three and the fourth, there are major differences. What are they? Okay, the major difference between the first three and the last one, the fourth one, here is the use of virtual assets such as data, information, and knowledge. Okay, these are virtual. Use them effectively in value creation. The first three are all focusing on tools, the way we work, and so on. The fourth one really put the emphasis on the resource, and it's virtual resource. Okay, now, how many people, which is the majority, number one or number two, Barry?
The overwhelming majority is number two.
Okay.
By 90%.
Okay, yes, okay. Now we come to the answer, more or less. People now also talk about the fifth revolution, okay? They think it's the fifth industrial revolution will shift the emphasis on the augmentation by AI. That's why probably most of people think, okay, empowered is more appropriate. That is your choice. Yes, I think that goes with the this definition of the fifth industrial revolution. It's people mention that they think it's a new era of human-machine collaboration where AI is enablement. Okay, so most of people seem to agree with this because humans are really in the driving seat, and then AI are in a kind of facilitation or empowerment in that role. Now, running business in modern economy, we have three types. One type is the only three types. Okay, I might be wrong, but let me know if you think okay, three is not enough, or there is a fourth. Type one is a platform economy that use platform as the core asset and then create a value, get a lot of people on the left-hand side. Conceptually, you have the suppliers, and the right-hand side, you have the customers. Okay, these are examples: Uber, Airbnb, etc. Type two is a digital economy that takes the virtual resources as an input, and the output is also virtual, such as Netflix, Spotify, etc. Okay, data services. The third one is a combination of two: manufacturing, even the agricultural, real estate, of course. A lot of you in that trade, transportation, for example, combination of the two. Now, another question. What are common features in three types? These are three types of digital business. Why digital business? Because you do business with the support of digital technologies. That's why digital business. But what are common features of these three types? There's no time for interaction, real interaction. But if we were in a small group, I would ask you to discuss. Now I have to give my answer, and then I think the all common feature is, first of all, it integrates digital capabilities into business processes. So every business, even in agriculture, you think agriculture is more traditional, construction is traditional, we don't use much. No, they use. If they don't use digital capabilities, then they're not going to win. The second common feature is the interplay, the relationship between physical and the virtual twin worlds supported by digital systems. And the third one is a digital business ecosystem. Ecosystems, nobody plays single-handedly. For value co-creation by all parties, On the left-hand side, you have suppliers. They are your partners in the ecosystem. Right-hand side, you have customers. They are also part of the value creation. Now, I think digital transformation has 3 stages, a kind of trilogy. The stage 1 is digitalization, and the stage 2 is servitization, and then transformation. And digitalization, when people talk about digitizing data, it's a narrower definition about converting analog artifacts into digital artifacts, digital documentation. But they also have to talk about the larger scope automation of business processes. Therefore, it's a digitalization instead of a digitization. Then once you have done that, people talk about servitization. In fact, servitization is already a kind of a mature concept. A lot of industry have adopted this for ages. But I'm talking about digital servitization enabled by digital technology. So it's a product and service integration, customer-centric approach to product and services, because customers' views, customized or personalized services that will make customers happier. So that's a kind of a servitization's important aspect. Okay, business model and service transformation will be done when you come to a higher level of servitization. This is a kind of demonstration of servitization. Look, we don't sell products only, goods only. We put a service wrapper, okay, to wrap around the servitized product and goods. Therefore, the provider will provide customers with user experience. For example, our Henley Business School, South Africa, I don't know whether you have any, you own any printers. Maybe you don't own any printers, but you sign contract with a printer printing provider, and you buy services. So if the paper is run out, if the machine is down, then they have the responsibility to maintain this uninterrupted services. Because this is a transformed business service, digital business ecosystem. Okay, we are familiar with this. You see, nobody is playing a role to cover everything, and in this kind of ecosystem, everything is digitally connected. Therefore, it's a digital business ecosystem. And then another example is this one. Many people in Africa use Tencent, like the software and hardware, also a lot of services in here. So you can see this Tencent is a Chinese communication company. From the beginning, they were the gaming company, and then they become a kind of a multifaceted service company, cover everything. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, so many sectors. They come together, linked by Tencent as a kind of a cornerstone to link the whole ecosystem together. Now, we also have good examples from South Africa. It's Takealot. Now, can I ask you something? If people, please type in your answer. If you have never ever heard of a Takealot, type in 0. If you have heard of it, type in 1. You know, you are aware of that, type 1. If you have used this, type in 2. Okay. Now, this is a leading e-commerce platform. But look, they later on, they innovatively expanded themselves by including personal shoppers to serve a township and the rural customers. Therefore, you will see in township, your sentence township, everything is enabled by Takealot. And the Takealot, in fact, becomes a very kind of a central concept in citizens' in that tone. And then this company has used a lot of generative AI. Okay, they use generative AI in customer service chatbot, so that they provide 24/7 non-interruptible service very efficiently, while the staff HR cost is down, and it's high quality service. And they also review moderation, so they filter content, summarize customer sentiment, therefore they understand the customers better. And then they also produce recommendations, okay, personalized recommendation to propose this also by the others, please would you consider, okay? And then also they use AI-driven logistics to realize just in time, etc. Okay, and then the other company I like to mention is you can also type in 0 if you heard nothing of it. Kumasi Hive, if you heard of them, aware one, and use them too. Okay, then this company is interesting, huh? In London, this kind of places you can find many. It's a kind of co-working spaces, but it's not just co-working, sitting there and so on. They provide lab facilities, business support services, and link up with a lot of partners so that they are in a kind of ecosystem, digitally supported. Okay, and this Kumasi Hive also nurturing innovation and entrepreneurship of SMEs. Okay, the key players in this ecosystem, so many. You can see, yeah, digital platform providers must be there, but also investor, government, and so on. Okay, and then they also were talking about potential use of AI. You can use content generation, therefore you don't have to write a lot, and then so it automatically generated a lot of content, and then the customer messaging and so on. This can be supported by Gen AI. Education tools to tell people what to use, potential customers, bring them up to date. Therefore, they become trained customers, and also internally they can use that. And also prototyping assistance, speed up product and services, the lead time to the market. So generative AI can help us a lot. Now we have gone through the practical examples. Let's talk about the general patterns, some kind of theory. If we want to, it looks like a digital business ecosystem is interesting to us. We will all go for digital business ecosystems. But what are preconditions? First is you must have the companies that are symbiotic, okay? Like elephant and bird, they help each other. Okay, so they must have a mutual benefits so that they can work together. Okay, and then second thing is they must co-evolve. You can't say, okay, I'm one of the players in the ecosystem. I adopt modern technologies, and other partners, they don't do that. We have to evolve together. And then we also have to realize that each company is an independent legal person, self-organizing. They have an entire rights for their own business. And last but not least, they must have a platform to support the interaction between companies. Okay, yeah. So these are the, why do we need to have that? We want to have all these 4 aspects. We want to have these 4 aspects, 4 components in order to have enhanced innovation and novel business models. We need to use a lot of data because data is an asset. If you use data well, then you create value. If you don't use them, then you are wasting a lot of resources. You can't win against other competitors. Okay, personalized customer experience, skills, capacity development, training, yeah, and also intensive inclusive participation. More people can come because we want to not only ourselves win, but all the partners in the ecosystem win together. Okay, now this would be my last slide because I said that we try to just cover things very quickly. What kind of qualities are necessary to become digital leaders. Why I say it's a digital leader? It's a shorthand for leaders in the digital age, digital and AI age. Now, first of all, if you want to be winning, you must have a entrepreneurship mindset, creation, okay, creativity. So you must have that. So you are successful, or you are a kind of qualified entrepreneur. And then you have to be manager. What's the difference between manager and a leader? Manager is that you have to do things yourself. Leader sometimes can have less involvement in hands-on work. But for SMEs, many SMEs, you can't be just, okay, I'm a leader. I don't do things. I ask others to. You might need to get hands dirty. So you have to be a good manager. So you can convert ideas, business more new models into realization, okay? And then you have to be a digital entrepreneur, because it's in digital age. The traditional entrepreneurship have to be expanded into with the digital technology, digital mind. And of course, you have to be leader. Why? To be a good manager is enough. You need to be good leader, because you have to be visionary, forward-looking, therefore innovation with inclusive ideas. And then you can be a qualified leader in the age of AI and the digital technology. Okay, now I mentioned Digital Talent Academy. Digital Talent Academy is one of the units in Henley Business School. Its goal is to empower individuals and business with more competence and talent in the AI and the digital age. And then I think that's very much appropriate to the leaders, our alumni members. Many of them have become leaders, very successful leaders already. So that's the message from me. Okay, so that's my presentation. I understand now we can come to Q&A. Barry, hand it over to you.
Thanks, Kecheng. Wonderful. Just to circle back to when you were asking about Takealot, there was overwhelming amount of twos. So most of the folks on the call had heard about and used Takealot. Less so the co-working space in Ghana, but I think that's because it's very city and region specific. But just to give you some feedback on your two questions. And now everybody, please, while we've got some rarefied time with Prof. Liu, let's have some questions. All right, they're coming in, Kecheng. I'm going to give you the first question from Mohammed Suleiman. How does Takealot use AI for their rural sales efforts?
Okay, yeah, I think that company, in fact, has set up a good example already. I think we could take a look, and then so these are the ways you can take a screenshot, Mohammed, and then you can go into detail. In fact, this company has not only been practicing in this way, but they also tell people how they benefited from technology, AI in particular, in their work. Say they look at the customer service aspect. They have a chatbot. In fact, a lot of companies have a lot of commercial chatbots are around. So if this is relevant to your business, get a chatbot, and then or you ask them to give you a little bit like a technology provider, a little bit customization for you, and then the customer service side can be really enhanced by that technology. The quality will be much higher, satisfaction level will be much higher. Okay, and then also other things that we know already in our practice, like production recommendation. People, you bought this and you bought another one, and then people are the software, the AI will tell you, oh, you can do this kind of in-depth or upselling, yeah, or cross-selling, upselling. All these kind of things can be assisted by generative AI. Of course, logistics, inventory management, this kind of things, even with very simple AI data analytics tool, you can benefit from them.
Thanks so much, Kecheng. From Charles, the question is on the focus on educational tools in generative AI. What is your take on indigenous languages as the key language for fostering engagement and utility in generative AI? So in vocational learning, so there's so many questions coming in, they're jumping around now. Give me a second here. In vocational learning and understanding among individuals, is not having English a barrier, basically? So what's your take on large language models and different languages?
Yeah. Okay. This is a very good question, but I have very good some kind of useful piece that I can share with you. Interestingly, I don't know how many people know that in fact, I say, for example, ChatGPT, you think, oh, ChatGPT speaks English. Okay, this is English native, therefore speak English. But in fact, no, I did experiment because I myself speaking Chinese as a mother tongue. And I don't know about a lot of medical languages, terminology, and a lot of things I don't know. So I just, okay, get the doctor transcription in English. I put into ChatGPT. I said, translate. And then they translate. And then you continue with your question, whatever preferable question. If you ask another next question in another language, then ChatGPT will answer you in that language. So right now, many major languages are not a problem anymore. You can use, okay, ChatGPT, and there are so many generative AI tools, So it's not a ChatGPT, but ChatGPT has the biggest impact. So language is not a really problem. The matter, the substance has been already worked out, in the large language model, contributed by you, me, him, her, everybody. So because we have a generative data, and then the Gen AI has used a lot of data to build a language model, therefore they can answer you. So language, in fact, is not a problem. But if you say, is it every language that has been covered? Maybe not. Maybe for like very small languages, it's still a gap. But okay, I know Charles might be a researcher, so do some research in that area. So language is not like dialect, that kind of thing. Sooner or later, it's not a big issue.
How do you actively work towards becoming a digital leader in environments where AI has so much negativity attached and is associated with laziness?
Okay. Yes. Not only you, Desmond, but many people have that concern, especially they say, next generation, they become very lazy, de-skilled, and so on. Okay, but so what? This is reality. You remember when Google came out, then the university lecturers said, oh, no, you can't. Students, you can't go to use Google. You have to go to library and search and so on. And the tools have come out to make us more productive and make us more lazier. That's the fact. We need to be aware of that. Okay. We also need to be aware that we use AI, but we have to take responsibility of the outcome. My research, one of my research projects is on trustworthy and fairness of AI. Okay, trustworthy AI. Yeah, but it's not we have to recognize that. But you might be surprised that when AI ChatGPT AI came out in 2022 December, in 2023 I told quite a few people. I went into a few companies. I said, be prepared. You have to use AI, but make good regulation guidelines. If you don't use AI, Desmond, you might agree with me. If you don't, recognizing all the downsides and so on, but if you don't use AI, you're going to lose. You're going to be less productive. Yeah, you are going to be very labor intensive, less efficient. So we have to really use AI, but we have to take responsibility. Yeah, if we don't take responsibility, you lose credits. There will be problems and so on. Yeah, but you do have to use it. Nevertheless, recognize, bear in mind all the negativities.
Fantastic, amazing. Thank you, Prof. Liu.